Lighting the gaming world on fire today was, I guess, the launch of Amazon's. Is it long awaited? I didn't even know they were working on the title. Although I know they have a studio here in Austin, they've been hiring for years. I just didn't know what the hell they were working on. But I guess it shouldn't come as any surprise that something that large, with such a huge hiring scale. I know a lot of people that work there, a few people rather. Some of them have since moved on. Should have guessed it was something as big and robust and expansive as an MMO. By the way, robust is apparently my word of the month, so take a shot every time you hear me say the word robust. I guess they've been working on an MMO, so let's see what this bad boy's all about.
I am the myth. I am the glory you seek. I am the island. And the island is me. I am the rage, the destruction. I am eternal.
I'm gonna be so addicted to this game. That's funny. New World. Oh man. Colonizer. The MMO. Alright, well. The reason I was made aware for this, at trigger warning to some of you who may not like this as a source, but I was made aware of it through Kotaku. Yeah. New World players face massive queues, wait times, and overloaded servers. Amazon's new MMO can't keep up with hundreds of thousands of would-be players, so I guess this thing just kind of exploded onto the market. Again, I'm kind of surprised. Maybe this is just something that's off my radar because I don't pay attention to MMOs. But yeah, I wasn't expecting this. Amazon's new massively multiplayer online role-playing game, New World, opened its doors earlier today, reaching a peak of over 700,000 players. That said, not even Jeff Bezos' piggy bank has kept the MMO's grand debut from being plagued with the usual launch delay woes, including ridiculous wait times just to play the game. I mean, that's what happens when you have hundreds of thousands of people all trying to jam onto servers at the same time. New World individual server capacity is currently capped at 2,000 players, which, when multiplied by the 233 global servers, means as many as 466,000 users should be able to play Amazon's MMO at the same time, with new game interest pushing that user count hundreds of thousands of players above what is currently feasible. However, folks who log into the game are now running headfirst into crowds of their fellow aspiring adventurers. Yeah, that's a tough situation because you don't want to start. I'm sure all of these servers are just like, Amazon web services. Obviously, they can just spin up new servers when necessary, spin them down whenever they're not necessary. We did that with Star Wars: The Old Republic. It was not cost effective after the initial launch. Once we settled into our more stable user base, we realized we had a bunch of servers that we weren't using, or had just like a small amount of players on them. It wasn't super feasible to keep those around, so we just reduced those and can maintain just a handful. I don't know how many there are now. Maybe one of these days I'll put SWTOR on this machine and hop back in. But I'm locked out because I had a key attached to my account, and I long since lost that key. So I'll have to call customer service and be like, "Yeah, it's me, guys. You don't remember me? Oh, you've been working there for a couple of years, and I haven't been there in many. Eventually, I'll work my way up to dealing with that obnoxiousness, so I can see my old character in that game. But yeah, that's what happens, man. But I mean, Amazon, are they really charging premium rates to their own game development service for servers, for cloud servers? I doubt it. So they could probably spin up as many servers as they really want if they have the capacity to do it. I don't know if they really want to do that. It seems like this sort of thing right here, 700,000 players. I mean, it's generating interest, and it's got me talking about it. So, this induced demand, this artificial scarcity, it has its value in the capitalist economy. Social media, as always the village square for these types of calamities, is currently inundated with screenshots showing queues in thousands, sometimes tens of thousands deep. I've seen worse. Yeah, so people are jammed into this game. But what is their opinion of it? Well, I noticed that it's mixed. Oops. So, again, Kotaku, being the beacons of drama that they are, they zeroed in on that. Amazon MMO New World as told by Steam reviews. I've waited so long for this game that I got bored and had 2 kids. I didn't know this was in development, so, It feels a bit weird that there are taxes in an MMO created by Amazon. That's actually taxes. Why are there taxes in an MMO? So New World, if not exactly a brave one. New World, a massively multiplayer online role-playing game published by Amazon, is officially out today for PC, marking the first legitimately successful game release for the planet's most valuable company. Whew. Pour one out for the super face-planted Crucible. Oh, I remember Crucible. Oh, shit. I hadn't thought about Crucible in a long time. New World didn't have the smoothest road to launch. Extensive reports on Wired and Bloomberg detailed the development process rife with mismanagement, unqualified leadership, top-to-bottom overhauls, and general dysfunction, eventually leading to multiple delays. Early character designs of the MMO, which is set in a fictional realm reminiscent of colonial-era America, were deemed by tribal consultants as offensive portrayals of Native Americans. What? Oh, God. I was just joking when I called it Colonizer, the MMO. I didn't realize that it's actually Colonizer, the MMO. I want to figure out what this is all about. Tribal of consultants, deemed by tribal consultants as offensive portrayals of Native Americans. In July, the game finally launched in closed beta, at which point some players summarily trolled the game with facts about Amazon. Also, running New World cost some players $1 gazillion graphic cards to sputter into oblivion. Despite it all, right off the bat, players have flocked to the game. As noted by Eurogamer, the MMO topped more than 500,000 concurrent players on Steam, an impressive figure that's no doubt spurred by partnerships between Amazon and influential influencers. What? What is all this? Playtest New Worlds. So they got influencers to do their marketing. I mean, what else is new, huh? What else is new? How the game is actually being received by players is a different story. At the moment, reviews on Steam are smack in the middle of mixed, with 53% of roughly 4,500 or 5,400 respondents awarding the game a positive rating. Some lament its lack of cat girls and SEA Southeast Asian servers, along with other connectivity issues. Others are more positive, saying they have a sword and I stab things, actions described as good. And more still want to see features added to the game like Jeff Bezos skin, while noting that the Beth Bezos username is already taken. Okay. Have you started grinding, son? No, Dad. I mean, what the fuck? They're memeing in these things. Best tree cutting sim, NA. I don't know, dude. I got really into Stardew Valley for cutting those trees. No cat girls. Wait so long for this game that I got bored and had 2 kids. New World is one of the best MMOs to come out in a long time. I've been part of every alpha and beta available, and very impressive how quickly AGS was able to turn out content, bug, and stability fixes. Over 300 hours between the alphas and betas, and it's been extremely fun. The game runs very well even on older hardware. 60 frames per second, 60 frames per second consistently out in the world on a 1070. While there is a lack of in-game content currently, with how quickly AGS seems to get to fixes and additions, I don't think it will be more than a few months before there is solid and fun in-game content. Highly recommend this game for fans of action-based combat systems, MMOs, and those who love to craft. The crafting system is extensive and immersive. Well, that dude really seemed to dig it. Tony Bambula. 1010. Best waiting queue simulator. Okay. Check my playtime and see how long you have to wait to get in the queue to the servers. LOL. Big Dick is already taken? The server holds 2,000 players. There are 15 Australian, Asian servers. The game is capped at 3,000 players for this region. Currently, there are 32,000 players. You legit couldn't join if you wanted to, huh? LMFAO, biggest server hosting company in the world, and they capped their servers at 2,000. I mean, that is true. I kind of wonder why they decapped themselves. Well, let me see what reviews there's this one right up here, right up top for Amazon owns AWS, the biggest server farm in the world. They host Netflix, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and Twitch. If they can't spare enough server capacity to launch their flagship game, very disappointed. I'm generally convinced that the queue times are a way to stretch by playtime to 2 hours so I can't refund it later. 15 minutes in game, position in queue, 60 minutes in game, okay. So all of this is just queue time complaints, which are legitimate complaints. Genius idea to make separate launch times for each region and having a global lock on character names. Thanks to that, US players are flocking to EU servers to secure their character names and making it impossible to play for legit EU players with 5,000 plus players in a queue. Huh. Oh, okay, I get it. I see. It's a it doesn't translate on that Kotaku post. Oh man, I preloaded my divorce papers too. I played 80 hours in the closed beta and had a real blast. I have not loved a ton of MMOs over the years. Here is my experience with them. Jesus, he goes all the way back to Ultima Online. Played this for years, loved it to death. My all-time favorite MMO. Nothing has been able to reach what UO did back in the day for me. Ton of fun despite all its uses. Jesus, so he turned this review of New World into a review of every MMO he's ever played? World of Warcraft. Played it when it first came out and tried 2 expansions. It was well done at times, but not really my cup of tea long term. Again, good, but not Ultima Online levels of fun for me personally. Age of Conan. A unique take on cities and player-run cities. Also had some fun combat and some cool atmosphere and gore. I played it about a year and a half. Was fun while it lasted. Ion, not very good, but decent. Guild Wars 2, an improvement over the first game. I worked on Ion for a little bit during my time at NCSoft, and you know, I don't know. I mean, not very good. It just depends on what you want from an MMO. I thought it was all right. I mean, as someone that doesn't like MMOs, I thought it was all right. Guild Wars 2, an improvement of the first game. Cool world events going on and slick combat. Played this for maybe 2 years off and on. SWTOR, fun Star Wars MMO. Great writing and fun at times, but fairly limited in other MMO elements. Played for 10 months. Yeah, that's very true. And maybe that's what I like the most about Star Wars, is it felt less like an MMO and more like a single-player story adventure that had just a couple of MMO elements in it. Elder Scrolls Online, not very good, very average. Trash combat, not a lot of depth. It does have a lot of content and a lot to explore, just not my style. It just sounds like Elder Scroll, or at least Skyrim. So far for me, personally, New World is the best MMO since Ultima Online. For myself, or WoW for other people, for others who play that religiously. This game has been a real nice surprise so far. I wasn't expecting much, and haven't enjoyed an MMO in a while. Positives: gorgeous graphics, wonderful action-oriented combat, good atmosphere, game world is crafted well, a real sense of interaction within companies, factions. PvP is good, UI is good, music is well done, the marketplace is a ton of fun to sell items, and it's just a blast to play. Negatives: performance can keep improving, and they could add a feature to allow people to spawn together to start a game in the same area. Other than that, I am loving the game. Blah, 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 I suppose. Okay. Don't pay attention to people getting a bad review. Okay. Well, that guy seemed to enjoy it. Although his negatives are like, this game's too fun. That's a little suspicious. But hey, sometimes people really love shit. And then back to the Q arguments. Well, you know what? These people act like they've never, tried to jump in on the ground floor of a popular MMO before. Comes with the territory, people. I don't think that's worth giving a game a bad review. You're not really reviewing the game. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, it's an MMO, so it's kind of like a software as a service sort of thing. Like, your ability to get into a product that you purchased and to play it definitely factors into, how you perceive that product. So there is some legitimacy to bitching about the massive queue times, but at the same time, if you've got like fucking 700,000 people, all jumping into a game at the same time, even for Amazon, there's not really much you can do. It's just, the game's popular. Don't know what to tell you. Better luck next time, guys. Yeah, I guess this was a story about the Bloomberg report. Initial designs for the game New World, in which you play as a colonist in a fictionalized 17th century America. Why? Why would they choose that as a subject matter, dude? That's like rife with fucking... That's a minefield that you're just tap dancing through, just hoping to step on something that's going to blow your ass up. Featured enemy designs that bore an uncomfortable similarity to Native Americans. Yep, there's that first landmine. Per Bloomberg, Amazon, quote, hired a tribal consultant who found that the portrayal was indeed offensive. New World was initially slated. Okay, so at least they did that much. And I'm sure that based off of that, they probably worked with those consultants to create something that maybe is less offensive, I hope. Developers at Amazon Game Studios were forced to use a proprietary development tool called Lumberyard. So that's what people were hired for. Probably back in 2015 is when I started seeing all of these job postings for Lumberyard here in Austin. And I had no idea what Lumberyard was. It was just like a vague Amazon posting for Lumberyard. I had some friends that went over there and worked on it. I guess it's their game engine. I guess that's the game engine that they built this thing on. And if you watch the video that Justin and I did about game unionization, we had a long talk about game engines and about how a unionized game industry would probably force even more of a standardization on game engines than there already exists. For a variety of reasons. I'm not going to get into that here. You can watch that video and see what we had to say about that. One of the things I did say was that it would be possible for larger companies to still develop their own engines, but they would have to do it over a long period of time. Like, game engines are so convoluted. Like, the reason why a large company would want to make their own engine is because they don't want to give any money to Epic or Unity. Like, they can make their game on their engine and save themselves the expense of licensing out an engine or paying for whatever that would be. And then on top of that is, if your engine is good, you can be the next Epic or Unity. You could use your engine and license it out to smaller companies, especially as Amazon, which I'm sure they've got their eyes on, like Steam. Like, why do we need to launch our game on Steam? We're Amazon. We should have our own thing. And they're probably going to try to do their own thing. And they're probably going to try to finagle indie developers. Hey, you can develop on Lumberyard and have, not free, but significantly cheaper access to our, Steam-like service where we take less of a percentage out of your sales than Steam does, and et cetera, et cetera. All of that would be, the incentive to create your own game engine. And if they started working on this at least in 2015, so maybe it started sooner, but for at least 6 years now, they've been iterating on this engine. God knows what kind of workplace environment was required in order to make something feasible and functional for an MMO, because an MMO, it's not like creating Call of Duty, dude. You need some crazy ass tools and a level of support unrivaled by anything else in order to make a large functioning MMO. You may have read about this in a piece. You may have read about this in a piece of similar excellent reporting by Wired's Cecilia de D'Anastasio from last October. In 2018, Amazon brought on Christopher Hartman, a Take-Two veteran, as vice president of the game studios. He eased the mandate that forced everyone to use Lumberyard. Huh? What does that mean? Ease the mandate? How do you do? What does that even mean? So is the game built with Lumberyard or not? Bro culture. Oh no. Bro culture is reportedly pervasive at Amazon's game development studios. One woman told Bloomberg that, following a disagreement with a male member of senior leadership, he made up some new positions above her and hired men into those roles. What? All right, that's with. I mean, maybe it's in this Bloomberg article. I'll have to read that. That's kind of a sketchy accusation. That's kind of a sketchy accusation. Like, I need to read more on that. It just seems weird. Like, creating positions, that's easy at a small company, but at a mega corporation like Amazon, just creating positions and hiring people above, that's not an easy thing to do. Like, you got to kind of move mountains into getting that kind of shit done. Amazon onboarded story developers who worked on popular series like Portal and Far Cry. Of them, just one remains. Okay, so what? The leader of an entire game division, Mike Frazzini, had never made a video game before. He reportedly frustrated developers with basic takes and basic takes. He reportedly frustrated developers with basic takes? What the fuck does that mean? And had trouble differentiating between gameplay and concept footage. Alright, well, rather than designing new concept, Amazon pushed to create takes on other popular games. What? Rather than designing new concept, Amazon pushed to create takes on other popular games. A project called Nova, inspired by League of Legends, was canceled in 2017. One called Well, that's what every game developer fucking does, dude. That's what you see what's hot and you try to make your own version of it. When I was at EA, they tried to do Runestone maybe? Dawngate? I forget what the fuck the name of that thing was. Dawngate, yeah. Yeah, they tried to do Dawngate, dude. Like, it was totally just, oh man, League of Legends is popping off. Let's get in on that shit. And it never came to be. It got close, and it looked cool if you like those sort of games. It was kind of neat, I guess, maybe, I don't know. But, like, it didn't happen. It met the same fate that I guess Nova met, called Intensity, sparked by Fortnite's staggering success, was binned in 2019. And there's the ill-fated Overwatch-like Crucible, which plays Planet Sahara, was released and unreleased later this. Yeah, I mean, that's just what, if you're a major game publisher, that's what you do. You see that some shit hit hot fire, and then you try to do it. Even small studios, like I talked about Death Star the other day. And Death Star was a function of the guys at Armature seeing that MOBAs were popping off, and they saw what happened with Rocket League, and they thought, hey, maybe if we have a cool enough take on the MOBA thing, we can hit a Rocket League type viral word of mouth sensation and launch this thing into the stratosphere. And it didn't happen that way. Of course, I talk about that on that Death Star video, but I mean, that's just game development, man. I don't know what this dude is going on about. Like, rather than designing new concepts, Amazon pushed to create takes on popular games. Like, fuck you, dude. Amazon Luna, the company's foray into the hot games on-demand space, doesn't even fall under the gaming division. It's run by David Limp. Oh, God, that's his name? What an unfortunate surname. Who helms Amazon's devices division, responsible for physical products like the Kindle and Echo. What is Amazon Luna? Oh, it's fucking hardware, dude. It's their attempt at a game console, I guess. Is it like streaming? It's like a set-top box to stream games, I'm guessing. Game streaming service aimed at allowing subscribers to play PC games remotely on computers, phones, and tablets. Sort of like a Stadia, but with slightly better controller. Okay, yeah, exactly. Exactly, dude. You don't fucking need to... so long as this dude has experience, like, developing and launching hardware, that's all that really matters there. Like, he's going to delegate the more game-specific stuff to people that work under him. I don't know who wrote this. Who wrote this write-up? Ari Notice? Huh? Well, this dude, you know, I don't think he understands how fucking the game industry works, even on an infantile scale. Everything that he's like kind of bulleting out here as some sort of fucking own is just really common. And maybe that's a criticism of the game industry in and of itself. You know, if you want to say that the game industry lacks creativity and it's driven by, you know, Me Too knee-jerk reactions from major companies, major publishing outfits that are looking for the next big blockbuster at the expense of independent developers, you can make that take. That's not the take this guy's making. He's just trying to get an easy own, but if you want to make that take, you can make that take, and I wouldn't disagree with it. But you got to understand just like what these guys, what their end game is. And Amazon's end game is to make themselves, you know, a viable name in game development and in games, and they have yet to do that until now. I guess apparently having 700,000 people cram themselves onto your waiting queues, you know, that's not a bad start. That ain't a bad start. So they're getting, even if the game reviews are mixed, at least people are trying to jump in to see it. Most of that mix just comes from people being mad about all the other people trying to play the game. So not a bad start. Yeah, I'm not really concerned about most of this stuff. Like the bro culture thing, I got to read more into. I'll probably read that Bloomberg article some other day. And, you know, the lumberyard stuff, I don't know. That's weird. I don't know what this means. Ease mandate that forced everyone to use lumberyard. What is lumberyard then, if not a game engine? So what were they using when they weren't using lumberyard? Were they like... is there some parts of the game that's built in like fucking Unreal or something? I don't get it. I don't know what that means. And this part is absolutely insane though. Like, my biggest point of contention when I first saw like the fucking, you know, conquistador, the Inquisitor helmet and shit, the Spanish Inquisition type look of this dude, the first thing I thought was, oh god, don't tell me that they tried to do Colonizer, the MMO. And it sounds like that's exactly what they were trying to do. And the fact that they actually had to go so far as to bring in a tribal consultant who was like, dude, this is really offensive to Native Americans. Sometimes you gotta know where to draw the line before you have to bring in someone that you know you're gonna offend, to have them be like, okay guys, this is where the line is, and you kind of stepped over it. Can you play it with your Prime subscription? I mean, that's not bad if your existing Amazon Prime subscription is all you need to play the game, then that's not bad. At least that gets you, because I already pay for that. So at least that gives you more value out of your Prime subscription. I'm not gonna poo-poo on that. That would actually be pretty cool. I mean, it would obviously be contributing to the monopolistic takeover from a company that doesn't need any more money for that operation, but at the very least, at least it gives you some kind of alternative towards, you know, shelling out even more money than we may or may not have the ability to shell out.